Discogs is the world's largest online marketplace for records, and it's also a valuable database, but people are getting fed up with it, and here's why. So I came across this really good article on stereogum.com outlining the current dissatisfaction with Discogs. I want to go through some of this and then share my thoughts. And this article says the online marketplace and database was, past tense, was a record collector's paradise. What went wrong? This article says the tipping point came in late April when the company informed sellers that it was increasing its selling fee from 8 to 9% and encouraged sellers to raise their prices accordingly. Though it seemed like a small increase on paper, the hike would substantially impact record dealers' already thin profit margins. Moreover, Discogs would also be applying the fees to shipping costs, something that it hadn't done previously. The article notes Discogs sent an email to sellers in May encouraging them to entice customers by offering free shipping. Now, here's what one seller had to say about that. He said, I cannot absorb shipping fees based on Discogs' belief that free shipping is a sales booster. If I were to follow Discogs' advice, I would be obligated to eat shipping costs that have been increasing with every passing month. I mean, all of this is bad, not just for the sellers, but also us buyers, because of course, anytime costs go up for a business or a seller, inevitably, unless they eat the costs or lose money, those costs are then passed on to the consumer, right? So it sucks all around. The article says that in response to Discogs' move, some indie labels are shifting their business model, including shifting sales to Bandcamp. I do dig Bandcamp. That's new vinyl, right? For used vinyl, I mean, what choices do people have? I guess shift to eBay. I'm going to speculate that most people who are watching this video either have bought things on Discogs, have sold things on Discogs, or have used Discogs as a resource. So I don't think Discogs is going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, the other thing is, as sad as it sounds, these price increases will probably be forgotten in the near future, right? I mean, I think of gasoline as an example. When we fill up our cars and the price of gas goes up, we all grumble and complain, but keep on driving. I do anyway. I keep paying for gas no matter what it costs. So yeah, again, as sad as it sounds, I think these price increases will be forgotten in the not too distant future. The thing is, I do have issues with Discogs, and people get pissed off at me when I say this, but I'm going to say it again because I do believe it. I think Discogs is at least partially responsible for the increased cost of used records. Why do I say this? I say it because Discogs posts sales history of pretty much any album you want to buy. And as a seller, when you price your albums, you're going to go look at the sales history of that particular record. You're going to look at what it sold for last, and you're going to price accordingly, right? If I was going to sell a record, I'd look at, well, what it sold at, how it's trending, maybe push the envelope a little bit, right? If you're not in any hurry to sell that record, see if you can charge a little more. And when that record sells, that becomes the latest high selling price, right? And the next person's going to base the selling price of their record on what it sold. And it's just a circle. It keeps going on and on and on. And yes, of course, this is supply and demand. That's the principle at play here. Some people are going to say it's not Discogs fueling the price of vinyl, the increases in vinyl. It's economic principles. Yes, I agree with that, but Discogs is definitely throwing gasoline on those economic principles and lighting the match, just simply through the way the database and the website works. I do also think that Discogs gives record collectors an unrealistic expectation, an unrealistic idea of what their collection is worth, right? You go on YouTube, you see these videos, people talking about how much their records are worth according to Discogs, but really, let's be honest, that is a theoretical figure. Sure, you may be able to get that much for your entire collection, but there's going to be a lot of work involved. You have to grade those records. You got to post them on Discogs. You got to ship them worldwide. And let's be honest, most of us are not willing to go through all that effort if we ever were to sell our collections, right? That's why I say it's a theoretical value. If you choose to sell your records locally, like through Facebook Marketplace, the market's gonna be a lot smaller, the demand is gonna be a lot smaller, and you may not get those Discogs prices if you try to sell locally. And if you try to sell your records to a local record store, forget about it. You're gonna get nowhere near that magical Discogs number. Don't get me wrong, I love Discogs. I think it's a great resource. I've bought records off of there before. I've never sold records on there, but I've bought records off of there before. But to me, Discogs' greatest value is as a database. I haven't uploaded my entire collection to Discogs. I haven't had the time. I wish I'd started years and years ago. At this point, it'd be a daunting task. I may do it someday. I don't know. But I love researching titles on there, right? You can look up pretty much any record in your collection. You can punch in some identifying markers on there, whether it's the catalog number, whether it's the writing and the in-groove, whatever. You can find the whole history of the record, where it was pressed. You can read reviews of those records. So as a database, I gotta say, Discogs is second to none. It is completely invaluable. But the article here in Stereo Gum makes an interesting note about that as well. It says the site's user-generated database is what makes Discogs essential, but it's also central to understanding a certain resentment among its longtime sellers, which have been exasperated by the new fee. They built the company's knowledge base with their uncompensated time and expertise, and now they are being stiffed. You know, legitimate point. And I do sometimes wonder if Discogs is eventually going to shift their model to where they will charge people for using the service, right? You can upload your entire collection there into the database, and you can get a lot of really good information about your records by doing that. As of now, that service is free, right? That's part of this free database. But will Discogs charge for it? I mean, who knows? It's a business, and businesses exist to make money, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. It sounds like financially, it's not necessarily all that great at Discogs, which is why they have been raising prices on sellers. Check this out. The article says, in late 2022, sources say the company laid off around a dozen staff members, some of whom were longtime trusted employees. Then in January of this year, the company shut down Vinyl Hub, a mobile database of record stores that was trusted by Discogs users, but which never brought in much money for the company. Again, we have to remember this is a business. They exist to make money, and they could shift their model at any time in order to sustain that business. On top of that, I've been reading a lot and hearing from a lot of record collectors who have been scammed by sellers on Discogs, and these people have not been satisfied with Discogs' response or Discogs' policing of scammers. Despite this negativity, man, again, I want to stress I do dig Discogs. I have no inside knowledge, but I don't think the company is in trouble. I don't think they are going anywhere. They are so embedded in the fabric of the vinyl community. As I said, we all know and or use Discogs. It's an awesome resource, but there definitely are some issues going on, and I can totally see why some record collectors are pissed off. Those are my thoughts. What do you think? All right, 33ers, let's carry this conversation into the comments. I will see you there in a couple of minutes. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I appreciate your time. I'll be back again real soon. Until then, keep on spinning.